All right, it's Wednesday night, Cop Talk Live here, YouTube, Rumble, X, wherever else you're at, guys, tonight. Welcome. My name is Dominic Izzo. I'm a retired police officer from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and this is Cop Talk Live if you're joining for the first time. This is Law Enforcement Review. It's changing cop culture. It's brutal, no BS, police review, stuff you're not going to get everywhere else, right? A lot of people love to do the high-stress ones, the shootings and the high-stress priority stuff, which I love doing, but the reality of law enforcement. I'm talking the barking dog call crap and the civil problems and the stuff that cops just can't seem to fix today. Well, they turn into a use of force, just soup sandwich, and it just goes to hell. Plenty of ways to sponsor the channel. We are 100% supported from your patronage, your viewers, your sharing of the show, your donations, all that. Go to coptalklive.org for all news and all police literature stuff that we wind up producing. If you're watching on any of the channels, you can check out the link for Cop Talk Live on PayPal. You can purchase my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop. There's links to that too. It's available at Barnes & Noble, wordsmatterpublishing.com, and Amazon as well. I take your calls on Wednesday nights live. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, doesn't make a damn bit of difference. I try to go over your comments as best you can in the chats. It's a great place. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the community you're building, and this is what we wind up doing. I open up the phones, second half, 708. There's the number if you're watching, 982-0974. Go ahead and send me a text, or if you call, which a lot of people do, I'll get back to you in the order that you called as best you can. We have some awesome discussions. I don't want arbitrary agreements. This is not an echo chamber. I like being challenged. If I don't have an answer, shit, hold me accountable. I'm going to get you the answer the next time I'm on. I started to talk about the other day, a lot of people over the last several years have been like, on my other social media platforms, what's your problem? Why are you attacking these cops who are doing lip syncing and TikTok stuff and they're humanized and this and that? And over the last 2 weeks specifically, I've gone full blast on my social media on showing this is what your taxpayer dollars are doing. And it's hilarious looking at the comments section of my videos with some of you guys going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how many of these, little boys and girls we have playing dress up in law enforcement. And yeah, it's an epidemic. And it kind of hit me the other day. I think I have an understanding why they're doing it, why the command staff is allowing it. And at first, I have to go back to, for those of you who are really social media savvy and have been following the last several years or last decade, it was really Officer Tommy Norman and Officer Daniels who started social media for cops, and a lot of us jumped on it. You had Mike the cop, who I've met him, great guy. He's fantastic. Daniels was, I've said this, I love saying this, and I'll give him credit every time I talk about him. Officer Daniels was the only cop who, when I went through with what I went through my department, it wasn't even a day. I posted up on social media what happened. A matter of like an hour or two later, Daniels is in my DMs going, dude, you okay? What do you need? It's like, holy shit, I don't even know you, man. Class act. But those guys paved the way for like Officer Dion Joseph, who's he had Skid Row cop for 30 years, class act. And a lot of us, back when social media was starting to get big, this was 2015, we used Facebook, and it was just showing what cops were like. The movement got hijacked, the whole humanizing the badge movement. That's what it was intended to be. And it got hijacked into me, 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 me. So instead of a culture being created out of a group of men and women who were police officers, it is now children who become police officers, so their personal agenda can be the culture of what they create in their social media. And it's wrong. It's wrong. And I started to think about, man, why would a department want this? Why would they welcome this? And it hit me. Number one, at first I thought it was fear. I legitimately thought that these admins and command staff and village halls, they're like, man, this is a female. You tell her, no, you can't do it, and we're going to get sued. This is a gay guy. This is somebody overweight. They're going to say we're picking on them. And then it hit me. When the lockdowns happened and a lot of people left their jobs or were fired because they would not comply with a certain mandate, you had a lot of positions that needed to be filled. And this was the ripe opportunity to change law enforcement forever. And we're in the midst of that now. I had thought, man, when I first saw, like, we were afraid. A lot of us had department policies created about us. Like, we had an affectionately known ISO policy at my police department because my chief, I would hear it from my command staff, my two commanders every Monday. They would go, dude, all chief does is bitch about your social media, because I was getting more camera time than he was. And it's like, dude, okay, he's jealous. I understand that. He's like, just tone it down. Just tone it down. And I wasn't doing anything other than talking about the what it's like to be a cop. That's all I was talking about. And they came up with an ISO policy, which was no uniform on your videos, can't be in your squad car. And mine never were. Mine were always in my personal car off duty because I was terrified of getting caught with my cell phone in my car. We had a no cell phone policy back then too. And you can't even wear a generic shirt that says police on it. It's like, what the hell, man? I think it was an agency out east on the East Coast that took their policy to court, and there was a ruling in favor for them that said, no, you can't do that. You're infringing on their constitutional rights or free speech. And it was like, okay, so now as long as you don't put your agency patch up or identifiers where you're at, you're fine with being on social media. And the two folds of this is, I wish some of these children out there who are playing police officer, that they would show where they're working. Because if you're so proud about this shit, you should have no problem with us calling your departments going, hey, how do you justify this? How do you qualify this? And I would really love to hear some of the answers on that. But we know how they qualify it and justify it. A lot of these kids are giving all the information in the world to defense attorneys when it comes to a prosecution. I called a woman out the other day, and it was, again, another surprising woman who heard what I had to say, and she listened to it, and just, man, she's been into action going, shit, I can't believe, how this makes me look. And again, a lot of the younger kids who get involved in this profession, they don't realize it's just something they do because everyone else is doing it. The amount of TikTok cops that are out there, it's overwhelming. But I had said, here you are, and she's joking on her social media about being crazy and what, just women stuff, right? Fun girl stuff. And my comment was, if you're online talking about your mental health, at what point does a defense attorney not look and put you on the stand and say, Officer so-and-so, can we talk about your mental health? You put all over on your social media, this is your position, this is your mental health struggles. Do you believe that you have the right mental health capacity to judge my client and make discretionary judgments to take him into custody? I'm like, you guys are giving it all on there. And then it kind of hit me while I was doing that reel. I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I haven't seen this whole time. And a lot of you need to realize this is what your departments are doing. They're giving you all the rope in the world to hang yourselves. Do the social media. Awesome. It's great. Whatever. Go ahead. Anytime you ever get that target on your back, which some of you think will never happen to you. Somebody asked me again the other day, why are you not a cop anymore? And I did a 3-minute reel on it. Dude, I was golden boy. I was a kiss ass of the suck up of suck ups who could do my job. I mean, my head was so far up the chief's ass because back then I truly cared for the man. He was my mentor. He was a father figure. He was everything. I was Chief's golden boy. Didn't matter. The day the crosshairs were on me, everything fucking changed. And people were telling me, dude, we told you he was a snake. These kids are going to see that they're giving all the ammunition for departments to get them the suspension days and terminations. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is they're preventing any of them, because you guys you're not thinking far ahead enough. They're preventing any and all of them from ever promoting or being promoted to sergeant. I've seen so far two people who are diverse, in my opinion, diversity hires. They're both clowns. Is that Officer Hulk, whatever his name is, big guy from Texas. I think he's a diversity hire, and I think he's a diversity promotion to sergeant, as is that Officer Officer Rachel Blanks, another from Georgia, another black diversity. The color of your skin got your promotions. I'm 100% confident your ability did not whatsoever, but it's what the department wants. They put you in that position. Everyone else, you go try to test for sergeant. How can you sit and have the board after you pass the sergeant's test, and there's like 4 other people, 10 other people looking for that spot, and they go, okay, can you talk about how much time you spend in your squad car doing lip gloss reviews. How do you what should explain, what the Fourth Amendment is and how it applies to policing, please? How are you able to justify that? In my opinion, you can't. You can't. And then the last thing, this hit me. My first department that I was with, I think we had 36 sworn in patrol, and I can count on my both hands how many guys I know who retired with pension. Not many. Not many. It was a revolving door. And a lot of departments I know that are revolving doors. Go and call your own, get the numbers from the town you work in, and you'll see how many cops quit. This was years ago. They come in, they do the profession for 5 or 10 years, and they wind up quitting. Well, now this is a plan I did not see. I was not smart enough to acknowledge the command staff and the village did this. They don't want, our department, we were 23% funded in our pension. And I think anything under 25% is illegal. I really didn't understand the inner workings. I was on the board for a little while for the pension, and I was like, this is overwhelming, but oh my God, how is this not possible? So if we had 3 guys who were all of the age that was ready to retire in 1 month, everyone's fucked. Well, this is how they cover that. If a lot of agencies aren't fully funded in their pensions, just let these kids burn themselves out. When they're tired of playing police, and they do it for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, they'll hit the ceiling. I'm done. I've just had enough of this and blah, 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 blah. And they really see what the job is like and how it's true work. That top out pay, the department save money. They don't have to pay them. Now they sure as shit don't have to pay pensions, no benefits, anything like that. And then you have now a new revolving door of guys who are coming in because you left all the marketability, all the marketing material up online to say this is the greatest job in the world. Come on, get your TikTok account started and play police officer. This is insane. I can't believe I didn't see this for the longest time. And the purpose of social media and police officers, it's to create an army of yes, sir, boys and girls who come in, do the job for a short time. They're all on social media. That's their persona. They walk out and you're going to get new, fresh recruits like crazy. It's just a nonstop revolving door. I want to go inside of that today as well, too. I want to talk about a police shooting that we're going to review again really quickly over in the chat. Dead Pepper, it's good to see you. Hillsborough Highlights, Sarah Nichols, Lobster Lover, Stephen Ritchie, Bev, it's great to see you guys over in the chat. Rachel Morgan, how are you? It's good to see everyone in the chat. And as it grows, I appreciate it. I'll try to get your comments as much as I can. This is a bigger problem, and I'll open phones after we go over this. I got to listen to some of your voicemails and all that. Remember, we do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific. I started talking about an organization back about 10 years ago. Back then when my deputy chief was still a class act and a guy I got along with great, he showed me this, what do you call it? A PDF file from an organization called PERF, Police Executive Research Forum. And I was use of force instructor, really big on use of force. And they started to change some tenets in there when I went, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So back 2014, I knew something was coming up in the wave after Obama did his whole war on policing. And hey, the Cambridge police acted stupidly in 2015 and all that. But 2016, I saw the legitimate proof of the way that they want to take law enforcement for the use of force that's coming. And you guys are in some serious trouble. You truly are. And it coincides with what the TikTok generation of cop are doing. The person that I'm speaking to when I do these, this content is I want to educate, and I know I'm not gonna, right? You're gonna get the blue line bootlickers they're pure fuck around and find out. And they don't care what the person did as long as the cop shoots the person, they deserved it. Maybe you shouldn't have resisted. Then you got the other side, which is the bleeding heart. That is, why can't you just shoot him in the leg? Or why can't you use words to de-escalate? De-escalate is their favorite fucking word, and it's just ridiculous. I can't get through to either side of them, and I don't even give a shit about it anymore. They're lost in their own world. They're just like political parties, and they're a lost cause. They're not worth my fucking time. I am looking at the cop who actually gives a shit, and the citizen who's like, man, I want to hold these cops accountable, but I don't have the information how to go to them and say, listen, this is your stuff. You go to them simply with, what's your reasonable, articulable suspicion? It's like, no, let me help you out better with dealing with them. And I want to talk to the cop who, A, gives a shit, and they're like, man, I didn't sign up to this to be a clown, or B, gets called out for being a clown and says, shit, all right, this is not who I want to be. Or then D, the one officer out there who was like me, who gave a shit. We felt lost in the mix because we weren't command staff. We couldn't make any real fucking difference. We were patrol, and we took our job unbelievably seriously. We were professionals, and we just don't know where we're at. These are the people that I'm talking to on this. This is from the Kansas City Star. This is a couple of years ago, 6 years ago, 2019. Lawrence police officer Brindley Blood thought she had her taser in hand as she watched an unarmed man beating a fellow officer last May. What she fired, however, was her gun by mistake. There is no mistake in law enforcement. It's negligence. Negligence. You are trained. There's no such thing as an accidental shooting in law enforcement. It is a negligent discharge, and it should be a criminal charge 100% of the time. Ironically speaking, 2019 was also that year that Kimberly, I cannot remember her name, someone in the chat needs to remind me. I can't remember, what was her name? Kimberly so-and-so, who shot that one subject, Duante or whatever, on a traffic stop. She thought it was her taser. She shot and killed him. Oh shit, I shot him, Blood shouted, according to the court records released on Thursday. Blood was charged a month ago in Douglas County with reckless aggravated battery, but the newly released documents reveal details of the frantic moments when a May 29th traffic stop for a seatbelt violation turned violence in the 100 block of 6th Street in Lawrence. Akiri Chanel Lewis, who was charged with battery of a police officer, refused to cooperate when he was pulled over by Lawrence police officer Ian McCann. According to police, Lewis was angry and said the traffic stop was racially motivated. God, I heard that a million times. You're just pulling me over because I'm black. There were times where I said, no, I'm pulling you over because you're fucking stupid. That was always, that always shut him up. It was pretty damn funny. The officer called for help. McCann spent several minutes trying to convince Lewis to provide his driver's license and proof of insurance. That's your problem. That's the YouTube generation. You guys are too worried about being on YouTube. Ask, tell, make. Sir, can I have your driver's license, please? No. Sir, give me your driver's license, sir. Make them give you your driver's license. It's a traffic stop. Driving is not a right. It's a privilege. And for all of you who have a problem with the way cops deal with people on traffic stops, maybe you should remove the power and the authority cops have in the laws they enforce by going to your state lawmakers and saying, hey, this seatbelt shit, it's got to go. Stop pulling us over for not wearing our seatbelt. It's a personal choice. It's not a moving violation. If I choose to wind up injuring myself, I don't care. Wearing a seatbelt or not does not impede your ability to drive a car at all. I think it's a stupid law in the first place. So how about we get that changed? You guys have the power to go to your lawmakers and get that done, or vote their asses out of office. The officer called for help. Blood arrived. McCann tried to force Lewis out of the vehicle, with Blood helping from the passenger side. They struggled for about a minute, and Lewis said, I'm going to knock you in your motherfucking... Okay, according to court records. Lewis then knocked McCann onto the ground and was on top of him, having hit him with a fist. When Blood came around to the other side of the sport utility vehicle, Blood braced herself to use the taser on Lewis. Officer Blood, this is a quote, explained her brain immediately went to, you need to tase this guy. You got to tase him. An investigation officer wrote in court records. Blood shouted, taser, taser, taser. She fired what was in her hand, and Lewis shouted in pain, which would have been normal when hit with a taser. Blood said she was stunned and didn't see the wires of the taser gun strike. And there's more to this article. I want to go to this video. Hunter over in the chat says MIMS gives cops greater latitude on a car stop. 100%, because Pennsylvania versus MIMS gives you a position to say it's officer safety. Oh my God, my officer safety. I'm terrified for my safety, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to play this now. And again, I'm going to open up the phones because I want to hear what you guys have to say for all this. Excuse me. When we have this discussion, because there's several things I'm going to point out. And this is something I also want you to keep in mind. And I'm asking you to keep an open mind, because I know a lot of you are not, or you're on either side. You're either bootlickers who will fuck around and find out, or you're the people who are, hey, you know, all you got to do is comply. Or the other side, it's like, well, why couldn't you just shot him in the leg? So on this stop, there are several things we need to talk about that are proof that, in my opinion, that the powers that be are trying to make it so that they can control who they're hiring to have an army of their own on the street. We saw that. We saw a ton of you out on the 2020 through 2024 mandate crap that were just, you guys were domestic terrorists. This is how I think that was a standard test. That was a baseline to see who was going to be obedient or not. But again, let's check out this traffic stop together. I'm going to point out what she did right, what she did wrong, and how this is an issue where non-training, TikTok, being retired on duty, it's going to kill more people than just those that are shot by police. This is thanks to Police Network as well, too, from their YouTube channel. Make sure you go ahead and check them out. I never liked that. I never liked lighting a car up right when you were stopped in traffic. I didn't like that, because then they're all worried, like, where can they go? What can they do? They don't know what to do. And you put them at a greater chance of that fight or flight. You're giving them time to be like, oh, I don't like activating your lights when you are fully stopped behind a vehicle. Wait till you guys, in my opinion, wait till you guys start moving again, then light them up.
I'll be in B, David. 10-4.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Officer McCann, Lawrence Police Department. The reason I stopped you, not wearing your seatbelt, okay?
Man.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Stop.
What?
Stop.
Man, about seatbelt, bro. I'm moving, my family homeless. I'm trying to go to fucking work at 6. You gonna stop me for a fucking seatbelt?
Yes, sir.
Man. Get sergeant folks on the phone now.
Do you have a driver's license?
Get folks on the phone now.
We don't have a Sergeant Folks.
Oh, yes, you do.
Are you saying Kirk Folks or
Yes, you do.
Folks?
Yes, you do.
Okay, sir, this is a seatbelt violation.
Man, go get something, man. I'm finna go to Trail Ridge. You pull me over there, man.
Okay, I'm gonna pull you over right here. This is gonna literally take only 4 minutes.
No, it's not. Cause I ain't, man. You, all them folks you just paid by, you gonna stop me for a fucking seatbelt?
Yes, sir, that's why I'm here today. I'm
Bruh,
here.
I gotta go get my motherfucking backseat and get my motherfucking key. You gonna, all them motherfucking folks, bruh.
In the time you...
Man, go get your motherfucking supervisor.
In the time you have...
Go get your goddamn supervisor. Don't
No,
talk
sir.
to me.
I'm not gonna do that.
Well then, hey, bruh, you can go on with that rich
Okay.
shit, man.
Here's the deal.
Bye.
Listen, here's the deal.
What?
This is a simple traffic violation. It's a
Man,
seatbelt
you
ticket.
trying to stop me for a motherfucking seatbelt violation?
Yes, sir, 'cause
After
you're not
you
wearing
pass
it.
all them goddamn, man,
They had their seatbelt on,
like
sir.
I said, go get your people, man.
Okay, I'm not going to go get anybody.
Well, then
We're going to take care of our business. I'm going to get you on down the road. If you would like to make a complaint after that, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay, but I'm not going to stand out here and have court with you and have an argument with you on the side of the road. I need your driver's license and your insurance card. If you give me that, I will get you your citation. I will get you on your way. You'll be out of here in 5 minutes or less. And you can go pick up your kids, and you can go move your family, and you can go do the things that you need to do.
You
but the longer
ran around and popped on me.
Yes,
Man,
sir. Because you didn't have your seatbelt on.
Nah, all them white folks you passed by didn't have their motherfucking seatbelts
Yes, they
on.
did, sir.
Get the fuck out my face, man. I'm telling you, bye. I'm already hot. I'm pissed off. Been a long bad day.
I don't want to make the situation any worse than it has to be.
You doing that right now.
No, sir, you are.
Yes, you are.
You're making this a much bigger issue than it needs to be.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
You
sir.
made it a motherfucking issue. You passed all the motherfucking folk, they ain't gonna whip around right there beside me, man. You seen all the motherfucker in front of me didn't even have his seatbelt on.
I did not see that.
You
I
a
saw
goddamn life. You standing right there driving by. You did see that motherfucker,
Okay.
man. Don't fuck with me.
You're more than welcome to complain about that later, but that's not going to get you out of this ticket today. And if you keep arguing and we keep going down this road, you're going to go to jail for a seatbelt violation. You want to go to jail for a seatbelt violation? That's the dumbest thing I've ever
I've
heard.
been before. For a fucking seatbelt violation.
So you want to go to jail for a seatbelt
like
violation?
I said, get your motherfucking soul.
Okay, we'll go to jail then.
Go get your supervisor.
Accept it for a second. No, I'm not going to get my supervisor.
Supervisor been requested. It's my right to
not
stop
your right.
your motherfucking
It's not a
supervisor
right.
because I didn't ask for one.
It's not a right.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Trust
Not.
me. Yes,
No, it's
it
not.
is. Okay.
This is the silliest thing I've ever had to do.
It really is. It really fucking is, man.
I really want you to go through the rest of your day and be able to enjoy it.
You done fucked that up, man.
Okay?
Come on. 'Cause
Instead of having to go to jail.
Go to work and shit.
You're not going to make it to work. You're going to go to jail.
Well, shit.
You're going to lose your job. Is really all this worth it? It's a ticket for
Like
a
I said,
seatbelt.
I have a right to talk to your supervisor.
No, you don't.
Supervisor up out here.
You don't
tell me
have
what-
that right. That's not a right.
You don't want to tell me that.
That's not a right.
You don't want to tell me that.
That's a request you made, and that's not going to happen right now.
How come?
Why?
Yeah, why not?
Because we're not going to sit here and block traffic while I wait for a supervisor to drive here and talk to you and tell you the same thing. They're going to tell you the exact same thing that I've just told you. That's you're getting a seatbelt ticket.
Man, Bill.
You're about to go to jail for a seatbelt violation. Are you really wanting to do that? You could give me your driver's license, I could write you your ticket, and you could drive
I
home.
haven't done nothing.
You're
You
not
just
wearing your
stopped the
seatbelt.
motherfuckers in front of me for a fucking seatbelt.
I don't care about them right now. I care about you. I can't stop every car on the
Let me tell you
road.
something. You didn't stop them for a fucking seatbelt, but you're gonna turn around behind me and try to pop me for a fucking seatbelt.
Sir, I can only stop
Man, all
one
the
car at a
motherfuckers
time.
you were looking at coming down the motherfucking line right there.
I was
man.
not.
Get on with that shit.
Okay.
You fucking my day up. That's what you're doing.
He's going to jail.
How you doing?
Okay.
No, I'm not.
You are.
Don't touch my vehicle. I have a right to my motherfucking
I need you to
vehicle.
step out. Step out. Give me your hands. Step out. Hey, don't make this. Don't make
I
this.
told you, don't talk to me. I want to talk to your motherfucker.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I'm gonna knock you in your mother.
Get out of the car.
I'm not getting out this car.
Get out of the car.
I'm not.
Get out of the
Please
car.
stop, man.
Sir?
You're messing up my kids' stuff. Please.
672 starts more units.
No. No. Listen. You came up here and you ain't even listen. This man done rode by every motherfucking body without a seatbelt. And then gonna just pull up behind me.
I need you to step out of the
No,
car.
I'm not. He wanted to do this shit. I asked him for a supervisor out here. He telling me I don't have a right to do that.
You don't?
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna see after all these motherfucking people. You let all these motherfuckers. Oh shit!
Anybody else in the car? No. Check your car. Nobody's in the car.
Geez, 3 females? Holy shit, and shove me in it. All right, couple different things. On this traffic stop breakdown, I think the only thing I liked was this officer's demeanor and temperament. That's about it. But command presence is such an important thing If you're a police officer, there's a time where the subject needs to know they can't test you. And that's something that you can't be taught. You need to develop that by being respectful, but at the same time, the person's like, man, I am not about to fuck with this guy. Don't be a hard ass. Find the way that best suits your personality. This cop didn't have it. That's the only reason this guy was talking like shit for the entire stop testing him. This is definitely day shift because there's a different type of officer on day shift. You stop really worrying about shit when you go to days. A lot of guys go to day shift to retire on duty. These are kids. All these cops, they don't have any imposing command presence. None of them at all. Ask, tell, make. One of the things that people keep getting pulled over on traffic stops, and they keep thinking, well, you have to tell me why you pulled over first. No, that's not a thing. It's hi, I'm Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. License and insurance, please. I don't have to tell you a damn fucking thing. I don't. There's no lawful requirement to my knowledge. If that's changed, please correct me in the comments section. I would love to see that. I don't have to tell you. I don't, if I can articulate it, and that's the key to everything. I can throw the lights on, pull you over, walk up and rip you right out of the car. I've done that. Did that for an elderly gentleman who was in and out of traffic, and I pulled up alongside him because he wasn't stopping, and I saw him doing this, and I Indiana Jones'd across his car and kind of dragged him out, put the car in park because he was a danger. He was doing 4 miles an hour, but it was like, holy shit. So it's all how you articulate things, right? Plenty of drunks that we walked up, and it's like, we're not letting them stay behind the wheel of a car. You can articulate immediately someone is impaired. Open the door, unlock if you have to, take the seatbelt off, pull them right out because they're a danger. So no, there is no lawful precedence in my knowledge. I haven't been a cop for a while. If there is, again, correct me. I'd be more than happy to see that. That I have to tell you, hi, I'm Officer so-and-so. Yeah, your license and insurance, please. Well, not until you tell me what I did. Oh, yeah, let me take the time to explain to you what's going on. That's not how it is. But for most professional traffic stops, they're professional. Hey, I'm Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. Reason I stopped you today, it's only 35 or you're doing 50. It's not a big deal. Do you have your license and insurance on you? As long as you clear, while you're looking for your license, I'm telling you this. Just as long as you clear, I'm writing you a written warning. It means nothing. You throw it out when you get home. I just got to show that I stopped you, and that's it. And just give me your insurance. Excellent. All right, I'm going to get you on your way in about 7 minutes, okay? It just takes that long for me to run you, and then I'm going to wind up writing it up. I'm going to be in my car. You're not getting a ticket today, and then I'll send you on your way, okay? There's always a way to be a professional police officer. In this case, the subject is trying to talk his way out of shit. It's a black culture thing. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't give a shit. The volume of their voice is what they think is their argument. Black culture loves to escalate and elevate the volume of their voice, talk over you, get loud, and they think they're going to intimidate you. It's how it is. These cops were not ready for this. If we take only, and I'm not going to critique the stop. He could have called for backup the second that the guy starts getting belligerent and shit. Remember, it's not against the law to get belligerent. It's First Amendment free speech. But at this point, I would start going, all right, I'm not dealing with this, and I got, it is what it is. And the subject is now escalating things because he's escalating the awareness, escalating the tone of what's going on. It's like, you could swear all you want, but you still have to comply with the lawful orders given. You could be like, you motherfucking pussy, pulling me over for not my seatbelt. Fuck you, go to hell, go fuck your mother, and give him the driver's license. That's fine. The fact that he was not giving the driver's license, that's the problem. That's the problem, dude. If you're the cop, shut the fuck up, ask, tell, make, rip him out of the car if need be. And if you're a citizen who has a problem with that, then you shut the fuck up and go get the laws changed. It's very simple. That's where I am at all this. The problem I have is if we go with no volume, right? No volume whatsoever. And we start to look at this. And this is where everyone needs to start critically looking at use of force. Now, we're going to take these two subjects. As far as I'm concerned, that guy looks little. He sounds young, and he doesn't look imposing. He looks like he doesn't even fill the uniform out. And the other one is a female cop, all right? So by virtue of physicality and biology, the leverage on her bones is going to be different. She's got a longer humerus than men do. Leverage points at the elbow for strength are different. And then the musculature, their DNA is built differently. Sorry, I don't give a shit who's going to argue. So now we have two people who have a less probability of delivering proper force successfully because of their biology. Smaller man and a weaker female. Keep that in mind for a second. So I'm going to play this without volume. If this is all we knew, right, and a struggle is going to ensue, he's still trying to get him out of the car. She's on the inside of the car. What they're doing at this point, I just don't, she should, to be honest, have had the taser out already and pointed at him. That's just my opinion. So now we have an active resistor. There's passive resistance where, no, I'm not getting out of the car. That's passive resistance. If I go to grab your wrist and you're pulling from me, that's active resistance. Now you're full on fighting. That's active resistance. The cop at this point, again, I want to box this. I want to frame this so that you guys will start thinking, because again, the fuck around, find out crowd that is the bootlicker crowd, I'm never going to get through to you. But this is where you guys are wrong. I summed this up for what happens right here to a woman who goes out to a bar and she's wearing the slinkiest of dresses and she lets a guy buy her a dozen drinks and she does a couple lines and she goes back to his house and then has the walk of shame the next day and says, oh my God, he raped me. Oh my God. In my opinion, she put herself in that circumstance. That's exactly what these cops are doing and what these agencies are doing and what we're doing with use of force. If you have a cop who has to escalate to match the level of use of force of what a subject is doing to them, we need to look at the baseline of cops. Get a little long-winded here. Follow me for a second. For those who don't know use of force is dictated by the subject. Cops do not have to. They do not have to go to step 1 to step 2 to step 5. They don't have to go to command presence. Okay, then I have to go verbal commands, then hands-on, then impact weapon, then deadly force. They can walk up to a scene and go from 0 to deadly force and then all the way back down based on what the subject did. That's it. My question is, why do we continue to hire police officers who they are so unsuccessful in command presence? They don't look intimidating. Verbal commands, no one listens to them because they speak like they're 5 years old. Hands-on, they can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. All that's left is to go immediately to the taser and to the pistol. Why? We are putting people on the street who those first few steps, they may make all the difference in saving themselves and the subject. But here we are now, we put a weak male who has no command presence in a position of authority to tell this guy what to do. The guy's like, fuck you, dude. I'm not going to jail. He doesn't take this cop seriously. So what does he do? He starts raining down bombs on this cop. They go off the side. He body slams him. Boom, one shot. In my opinion, with no audio, back of the head, this is 100% justifiable for him to be shot. The female cop comes up and she is terminating life-threatening behavior. It's part 2 to this. I wouldn't fucking do that, dude. If I saw my partner was in this position and I saw guys doing that, I'm fucking kicking him in the head. I'm going to a rear naked choke. I know what I'm able to do. I'm taking this guy out with my hands because the difference is this, and people are not paying attention. If it's me, if I'm this officer's backup and I see the officer gets hits in the head, I'm going to be critiqued a whole lot more if I go and I shoot him. If I pull my pistol out and I shoot him, the world is going to go, wait a second. You're Dominic Izzo. You're trained. You're strong as fuck. You've been a folk style wrestler, a coach, a martial artist for 35 years. You needed to go to your pistol? But what they do is they give a female the pass. Well, clearly she had to go to her pistol. Fuck around and find out. Also, if that's me, if I go to pull that guy out of the car. No, he's not getting away with that shit with me. His head's going to be bounced off the pavement. But you see what I'm saying? We are putting cops in the street who are putting themselves in a position where they are the ones who are escalating use of force. That's very important to hang on to. Here's the problem, and this is the biggest problem we have with this. If that was a shooting, the law backs them up. Deadly force was very warranted there. And when I did this video earlier today, a lot of people were like, good, should have fucking shot him. It's the people who, two things. They support the police and they hate blacks. It's simple as that. We have to start using adult language in life. There are a lot of people who are fucking racist. They hate black people. Black people are violent. 52% of the violence crimes in America are committed by within 13% of the population. It's not 13% of the population. That means the entirety of black community is violent. It's about 6%. 6% of Americans are committing 52% of the violence. It's just the culture. It's nothing that we need to talk about that's not true. The problem is if we play volume, this is it. And she said in her statement, she thought she had to tase him.
After all these motherfucking people, you let all these
She went right to taser. Taser, but she grabbed her pistol. Another cop that same year did that. Kimberly, I cannot remember her name. There's the problem. And this is something I want to put on all you cops in America. We had it, right? We had a department policy that we implemented. We tried to. And I know exactly why we did. I was big into fitness. A lot of us were big into fitness. And my deputy chief was very big into fitness. And we wanted to implement a department policy. But it wasn't to keep fit. It was because they wanted to force Joey out. Joey was 59 years old, and they were so tired of his shit and blah, blah, blah. They couldn't stand him. He was a great cop. He was my partner, great cop. But they had thought if they created a department policy on fitness standards and everyone approved it, then they could say, great, you got to pass this annually once a year. And if you don't, well, first try you don't. You get to review. Second time is a write-up. Third time is you're terminated. They simply did that. There are a ton of departments that try to implement policies, but the union steps in. Well, you can't mandate that. It blows me away. You could do the bullshit power test, a bench press X amount of your weight, which is different for women, a 1.5 mile run, which is ridiculous, sit and reach and sit-ups. And you got to do that to pass the test, to pass the physical in order to take the written. If you don't pass the physical, you can't take the written. And then you take it to the academy, but then you never do it again. Never do it again. I went in to law enforcement 165 pounds. I left law enforcement 225. And my waist is thick. The fire department fed us great all the time. Not having that fitness standard puts people into this position. So it's bottom line training, right? You train on your tools once a year for recertification, and it's for one reason only. It's to prevent the chiefs of police from being sued. There's a law, I cannot recall what it was, but every annual training you have, it's not for you to review. It's so the chief won't be sued, right? So that your liability is, well, you use your baton on somebody and you strike them in the head. Well, what are you going to sue the officer, or are you going to sue the department and the chief? Well, the chief is able to say, no, we gave this person proper training. And anybody who's ever been through in-house training, you know it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Cops do not take it seriously. Cops are the worst. Male cops are the absolute worst when it comes to physical training, any type of defensive tactics. I taught for Niemert for years. I would taught with Danny Halligan, and we taught defensive tactics. And every time we would go and show our content from those Halligan's combat training, every time we used to teach people, the cops would come to show us what they knew not to learn. You'd get an 8-hour class. You'd get 40 guys in there. All right, let's get these repetitions done. They do something, you show them 3 times, and then they start showing each other what they know. And then you're trying to deal with a bunch of machismo going, shit, man. Hey, guys, let's get some reps in. Let's get some reps in. They don't take anybody seriously. It's a fucking joke to them. So if we're not doing this training properly, how are we putting cops on the street in order to sit there and say that, we have these righteous men and women out there who are doing the job appropriately? It's been blowing me away for years, right? If we have this, how are we allowing a cop to confuse her taser for her pistol or vice versa and that's not an isolated incident. We've seen this happen more than once. We have another cop who can't take care of himself. Another cop, the same cop who, instead of going to a rear naked choke, which is lawful in deadly circumstances, the use of force, instead of using arm bars, instead of using something else, she physically knows she can't take this subject into custody. She's going to rely on the taser. I've played an episode on the taser. It is one of the worst tools in law enforcement, in my opinion. It gives people the false sense of reality or security that it actually works, and it has such a high failure rate. And instead of going hands-on, you go right to the taser, but it's a pistol instead. I always wondered, why in the name of God do we still have these shitty cops on the street? And I think I figured it out. It's to take in an agenda to maybe minimally federalize the police. Here's what I mean. Many years ago, I looked at an organization called PERF, Police Executive Research Forum. And this is from PERF, right? This is from the website, the principles. And I think one of the standards for PERF is it was for chiefs to be a part of, the executives, right? And you had to be a chief of an agency that has a minimum of 100 sworn officers on there. We have joined together in Police Executive Research Forum to share the challenges of leadership and to continue the professionalization of policing at all levels. The principles of the guide PERF are that research, experimentation, exchange of ideas through public discussion and debate are paths for development of a professional body of knowledge about policing. Number 2, substantial and purposeful academic study is a prerequisite for acquiring, understanding, and adding to the body of knowledge of professional police management. Number 3, maintenance of the highest standards of ethics and integrity is imperative to the improvement of policing. Number 4, the police must, within the limits of the law, be responsible and accountable to the citizens as the ultimate source of police authority. Are you starting to get a pattern here? And number 5, the principles embodied in the Constitution are the foundation of policing. I subscribe to the above principles set forth in the Police Executive Research Forum articles of incorporation. I understand that the basic responsibilities of the membership, including contributing to PERF activities when possible, attending meetings, assisting in the data collection by participating in surveys, participating in research, and otherwise helping to advance the PERF principles as established by the board of directors and general membership. It sounds good. It sounds good. Adhering to the Constitution? Fuck yeah, where do I sign? Acknowledging that the ultimate authority, approval comes from the citizens that we serve? Fuck yeah, dude. 100%. Oh, but back then when I first saw this, it was tenet number 4 on the principles of policing. Critical issues in policing series, use of force, taking policing to a higher standard, January 29th, 2016, 30 guiding principles. I got to number 4, which they elevated to number 3. And I've been saying this since 2016. And I'm going to tell you, because you don't pay attention to this as police officers, your career is about to come to a screeching halt when it comes down to doing the job righteously and properly and being defended for it. Now, what I suggest when it comes to this is that you cops out there who actually give a shit about the Constitution, who actually give a shit and know, sometimes I have to do things that are ugly and violent and the public will not, they're not going to like me for, but as long as I do it lawfully and righteously, then I'm protected by law and public opinion. I think it's time that you guys start making a huge noise, because this is something I've always said. If every cop out there was smart about how they exercised and implemented and executed their tactics and did it without personal emotion and without personal bias and did it within the law, every single time, 100%, 100% of the time, when it comes down to defending use of force in the public eye, it would be easy as hell. Easy as hell. But we have morons on the street. You guys know this. You work with them. You train with them. You sit there and roll your eyes and go, shit, how did this guy pass through FTO? Well, we know how they passed FTO. Diversity hire. We know how they passed FTO. Every sergeant wants to fuck her. We know how they passed FTO. They know the mayor. It's never going to happen. And these children who are inept are going to make your lives hell. But it hit me today. They want them there to make your lives hell because they're going to change policing. When it comes down to perf, we just go down to number 4. And when it comes to the 30, the number 1 is the sanctity of human life should be at the heart of everything an agency does. I agree with that because what's the role of the police? To keep the peace and maintain order in a free society. Agency missions, policies, and training curricula should emphasize the sanctity of human life, the general public, police officers, and criminal suspects. I'm on board. Your job as a cop is not to punish the criminals. It's to send them to court, and the courts do the punishing. You guys as police officers have the most difficult job in America. Not the hardest. You have the most difficult. You truly do. You're trying to appease cop supporters, cop haters, command staff, the law, your own self-morality. You have the most difficult job in the world, and I'm trying to help you make it easier. And the importance of treating all persons with dignity and respect. Number 1, I am on board. I think that's fucking brilliant. That is a phenomenal number 1 policy. Policy number 2, departments should adopt policies that hold themselves to a higher standard than the legal requirements of Graham v. Connor. I love the higher standard. I love the higher standard. Here's the problem when you say hold a higher standard than to Graham v. Connor. You're asking people to be mind readers. Graham v. Connor, in a summation orange juice case, guy wants, I guess he was having some kind of diabetic attack, I think. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Officers see him go into a convenience store looking for orange juice. Doesn't find any, leaves. Guess he goes down the street to another store. Officers stop him for some strange reason. The guy gets tuned up. What Graham v. Connor stated is the officers are lawfully allowed to use force based on the knowledge they have at the time. That's a huge, huge blanket and margin of error. Means if I show up on scene and my partner says, he just stabbed me, and I pull out my pistol and I shoot this guy in the head, and there was no knife, and my partner was a fucking lying scumbag, I'm protected by Graham v. Connor because the knowledge that I had at the time was this guy was fighting with my partner, and he says, he's got a knife, he just stabbed me. Boom, 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 boom. That's the knowledge I had at the time. It's Graham v. Connor. You're protected under it. And there's a lot of good in it, and there's a lot of bad in it, but that's the standard way. It used to be Tennessee versus Garner, and that was 2 cops show up on scene and they shoot a kid who was fleeing from the scene of a residential burglary, I believe. He wasn't armed. They shot him in the back. That turned into, that was the original use of force standard, but now it's for fleeing felonies. I believe in the state of Illinois, there's 15 fleeing felonies you could shoot somebody for. Agency use of force policy should go beyond the legal standard of objectively reasonableness as outlined in the 1989 Supreme Court case decision of Graham v. Connor. The landmark decision should be seen as necessary but not sufficient because it does not provide police with sufficient guidance on how to use force. I disagree with this. If that court case is the standard, your department policy cannot supersede that level of use of force. You can't. Then all of a sudden you're going to have chiefs of police saying, well, Graham v. Connor says this. Tell you what, now you can't fire a pistol in a deadly force circumstance unless, when department policy says this, you take a round to the chest first. Then you can. You cannot use a strike unless you get hit in the face first. You cannot use pepper spray unless somebody pulls out a knife on you first. This is a disaster for danger. But remember, one of their massive tenets for use of force policy was that the The public. The public. They're the grand all be all. They are, but we have to have a working relationship with them. As a result, prosecutors and grand juries often find that fatal shootings by an officer is not a crime, even though they may not consider the use of force proportional or necessary. Remember that word. Agencies, I do believe that we should have a lot more police officers prosecuted for shooting because of their substandard training. There should be no such thing as an accidental shooting. It should be a negligent shooting, and they should be criminal charged. Agencies should adopt policies and training to hold themselves to a higher standard. That's in everything. I agree with that. Based on sound tactics, consideration of whether the force was proportional to, there's that word again, proportional to the threat and the sanctity of human life. Many police agencies already have policies that go beyond the legal requirements. For example, many police agencies have adopted pollute pursuit policies, which I think every agency should have. I'm not a fan of Georgia State Police or Florida who will fucking pit maneuver you for not using a turning signal. Those guys have hard-ons to kill people. They really do. They're dangerous for law enforcement. For example, rules barring officers from shooting at or moving fleeing vehicles. That go beyond legal precedents. This is it. This is the one that's going to change America, and they moved it to number 3. Police use of force must meet the test of proportionality. That's not the standard. The standard is objectively reasonableness. Is the force that was used objectively, what other officers would see as objectively reasonable? With that woman who shot that guy in the head, sadly, it was a lawful shooting if she intended to do it, but she didn't. She intended to tase. That's the problem. So objectively reasonableness-wise, standard-wise, that use of force, seeing her partner getting body slammed to the ground, even though he was weaker and untrained and put himself in that position for force to be escalated. You see this? You see the problem we're having in law enforcement right now? Got a bunch of cops on the street who can't. It's almost like I said, the rape case. Well, you walked into a bar in nothing but lingerie and an overcoat, told the guy, hey, I want you to fuck me and get me drunk first, and then you cried rape the next day. You put yourself in that circumstance. Same thing. We're hiring weak, inept, untrained cops who cannot take care of themselves, and then we are saying that it's lawful to use the level of force on them that's lawfully allowed. That's a problem I have. But here we go. In assessing whether a response is proportional, officers must ask themselves, how would the general public view the action we took? Would they think it's appropriate to the entire situation and to the severity of the threat posed to me or the public? If you cannot see how Police Executive Research Forum is trying to crucify fucking cops, that's all the proof you need. That's all the proof you need. Because now, how do you justify that? You've got a group of people on one side who are bloodthirsty. They want cops to kill people all the time. Shoot that black piece of shit for fucking resisting arrest. Motherfucker deserved it. He got what's coming. Then the other side, you just shot him because he's black. Proportional? Proportional. This is the danger that you cops are coming into, and why I truly believe they're letting this shit happen on purpose. Because if you sell a product, right, business is all about one thing: solving problems. That's it. What do restaurants create the solution for? Being hungry. What do car manufacturers create the need for? Transportation. I got to get from point A to B. What is Advil, Tylenol, Aleve? What are they around for? Man, I got headaches, body aches. There's a problem for that. If you are in business, you solve people's problems by creating a product or a service. Shit. How does that apply towards law enforcement? If I was ruler of the world and I had the emperor's staff of power, I would create a problem that would test the resolve and the loyalty of my police officers, like a lockdown. And I would see who's loyal to me. I would see who's willing to take a mandate to keep their jobs and who's willing to violate constitutional rights to keep their jobs. And I would have that as the baseline test for who I'm going to start hiring from here on out. And then I would create, do whatever you want. You don't have to train. You're protected. You're a minority. Get on TikTok all you want. Go ahead. Do lipstick tutorials. We're going to promote you to crime scene detective. Do whatever you want. I would create a useless, inept police force that forces seasoned, well-trained, compassionate officers to say, fuck this, I am done, and leave. And create an epidemic of problem now, where now we went from the public is the problem to, oh my God, look at all these out of control, unable, untrained, inept police officers putting the public in harm's way. This man didn't need to be shot. We needed more cops who were 6'2", 220 pounds. Class A, what is it? D1 wrestlers, or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts who can come out, and they could have put him into custody easy. We need to get rid of women. We need to create a standard of this job where all of a sudden now people, they want to be the police. And now we can control who we hire. We can control who we give that authority to. And they're going to be loyal to us, not the citizens. I'm telling you, I think within the next 10 years, we have a problem in law enforcement that has been created, and the solution is who's ever pulling the strings is setting it up to replace all good cops, all righteous cops with all drones, maybe federal, who do exactly what they say, when they say, how they say it, because they're going to keep the paycheck and the power. And we saw that in the last 4 years during the lockdowns. And we're seeing that now with a bunch of kids who are giving authority by playing police online. And they are the ones that are being leveraged to create disasters on the street so that they could be replaced later on. Guys, I'm telling you, save this video. Let's see what happens 5 years from now, but I think that's the direction we are going, and that's why things like perf, they're the biggest danger to you guys on the street at all. Over in the chat, oh my gosh, you guys are putting some great stuff out there. I can't keep up with all this. I appreciate the chat. I do read it afterwards, and I'll give it. We're going to open up the phones. 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. I have to play some of your voice notes that I want to hear, but give me a second, and I'm going to wind up calling you guys back. Don't forget, we do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. CopTalkLive.org is the website. You could sponsor and support what we're trying to do by educating law enforcement. We have a PayPal account. Cop Talk Live is PayPal. You could buy my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop. Available Amazon, Words Matter Publishing, and Barnes & Noble. And I got to hear what you guys have to say here. Let me catch up on some voice notes.
Officer Izzo, thank you for your YouTube channel. Hey, my name is Eric Crew. Good to meet you. God bless you. Hope you're well. Thank you for your service. I have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to, I didn't expect you to answer. I'm trying to really talk about the difference between statutory law and common law, basically courts of equity versus courts of common law. I think it gets down to jurisdictional issues between land, air, and water, believe it or not, which is, it gets a little more complicated, but trust law, land of the water, or law of the water, and then also supreme law of the land. So we have conflicting laws throughout the nation. Which is apparent, I think. Anyways, look, it's a very long topic. Maybe I'll text you. Hope to hear from you soon, man. I appreciate what you're doing, and maybe I'll try you back. Feel free to call me, text me at any time, and God bless you. I hope you have a good day.
You know what? I'd like to have you on, and we could talk about that, because I've heard that a lot, and I've always wondered if that's the case, why we just not switch to it? What's the issue? So I'll get a hold of you. I want to hear what you have to say. Continue on here.
Hi, Dominic. This is Officer Tater Hater. Sorry I haven't been able to call in a few weeks. I've been working. I've been driving my ass off. And there is something I did want to ask. and this really, really gets my goat going. Now, you've said you hate people that drink and drive, which, okay. I hate people who text and drive. This is that really something that really, really gets my goat going is I actually see cops do this shit and they get away with it. And in Georgia, I found out that Georgia State Patrol is known for this, and it's legal for them to do it and get away with it. But actually, truck drivers can get thousands of dollars of a ticket if we get caught doing this. And just wanted to bring that up in a chat because this is something that really, really bugs me. You're probably going to find it a bit comedic because you above all my channels that I follow, I tend to have a raunchy sense of humor, and I have no issue explaining that. So this is something that really, really bothers me. All right. Talk to you later, Dominic.
Hypocrisy pisses me off more than anything. I hate hypocrisy, and I call out my own hypocrisy when I am one, and it blows me away. There was a law, and I don't recall what it was, where cops do not have to wear seatbelts if they have a pistol on them and they're on duty. So wait a second. So I don't have to wear a seatbelt, and I'm a cop. And I think there's the same thing that cops are not restricted from utilizing electronic devices while driving, but you, the citizen, are. I think it's bullshit. Trust me, I think it's bullshit. It is what it is. But at the same time, too, they can carry a pistol. And in your state, like Illinois, you need a FOID card, which they're fighting. It's like, this is absolutely ridiculous. But it's hypocrisy, just flat out and simple.
Hey, Dominic. My name is Steven. I followed actually a lot of your content for years.
That's going to be a different topic. I do teach several things like martial arts and sales. That is another one. I got to get back to that one. Appreciate that, Steven.
Hey, Dominic. Hey, I'm a long-time guy. I've been listening to you. I'm a black guy. One thing I want to make sure you don't do, man, on this one video, you basically said it's a cult, or hypocrisy when racial profiling cops become racially profiled. I agree with you to a certain degree, except when you say it's a cultural thing, because basically you made it seem like all black people fit into this one stereotype. So, dude, not everyone does. Just came off that way.
No,
anyway,
I appreciate that.
thanks.
I think I played that voice note last week and I didn't delete it. I generalize because that's what the purpose of it is. I generalize context, and culture is synonymous with crime. I think I played this one too.
Hey, how you doing? I've watched you a few times. My name is Shelton, and I want you to understand that you have to understand.
I did. You could hear that one. That was a long time one of common law as well too. All right, let me get these two through these two.
Hi, this is Mark White. I don't know if it was me and you that spoke online or on email. I'm trying to find your live broadcast tonight. I'd love to get on there and talk about a little bit of stuff that I've been through, being on both sides of, law enforcement. So if you could either give me a call or text or let me know how I can get onto your live, that would be great. Thank you, sir. Bye.
All right, cool. Let's try one more.
Hi, Dominic. This is Bryce, a.k.a. Officer Tater Hater. Just wondering, could I call in another time? I do have some issues to ask about. Anyway,
we'll give you a call right now.
Hello.
Hi, it's Izzo. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, Dominic. This is Officer Tater Hater. Thanks for calling me back.
You're welcome. Just played your voice note about the cell phone, and it's something I can't stand either, and I'm in 100% agreement with you. So, but you said you wanted to talk about other things. What's going on?
Yes, this is a huge aspect in the hypocrisy sense. But the one thing the biggest thing that gets my goat going is the cops texting and driving. You'd be shocked as to see how many cops I see out there.
No, I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked. I know how often it happens.
So when you're driving an 18-wheeler, you do get a chance to see what people are looking down at, and a lot of times it's their phones, and they'll even be holding it. And cops, when they do pass, they'll be texting and driving. If the window, depending on how tinted it is when they go by, I actually see that or not, or how light it is outside. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't, but I know that they do it, and it really, really pisses me off. It really bothers me.
All right, so what are you going to do about it?
So I really wish that me and a couple of 100,000 people would just go up to our state capitol and say in Mississippi, which is where I live, put a stop for this, and I think we're going to have to do that state by state. I don't think that we're going to have. We would have the mass following needed to put forth a bill to actually end that. But it's sickening that certain groups of people actually get away with that.
Yeah, it blows me away. You can get somebody who texts and drives. If a cop texts and drives and gets into a car accident, how are you going to prove that she or he was texting and driving and it's not your fault? It's their fault.
Actually, yeah, there was a case in Florida.
Hang on, I think I'm answering my own question. Why don't we have 24/7 cameras, dash cams in the car facing the officers, nonstop filming them on duty?
Some agencies do, some don't. Like Grady Judd won't allow it in his county. I think that's horseshit to me, to be perfectly, because
don't get me started on Grady Judd.
It's whenever I'm driving, there is actually a dash camera pointed at me, so I don't have the luxury of texting and driving.
Yeah,
I can tap my phone screen. I can glance at it, but I definitely can't hold it or
hands free.
Up.
Right, hands free.
It is. My company is definitely hands free.
Well, yeah, you wind up getting in an accident. You kill a family of 5 with your rig. They're out of business because they're getting sued for everything you own. So it would be like, dude, if we fucking see you texting and driving, you're fired. You're fired.
So now there was a case in Florida that really pissed me off. There was a sheriff's deputy down there that hit a lady from behind. She was parked at a bus stop behind a school bus. He hit her. I think it was 47. And it actually broke her back, if I'm not mistaken. I forget what she had to be done, but he wasn't arrested. The only thing that happened to him, he was fired. And I said, that's fucking bullshit. He needs to go to prison for a while with general population, and there needs to be a porno filmed featuring Bubba and special guest Bubba's big long weenie, without lube and without a rubber. Period. In the story. I know. I told you I have a raunchy sense of humor, Dominic. But that's the truth.
I get it. No, I appreciate your position. I understand it, and I agree with you. So it is what it is. It sucks.
I really, really, really hate the hypocrisy part when it comes to cops getting away with highway shit that we citizens cannot do. In terms of going back to what I think needs to be done, change tends to happen very, very slowly. And I would love to get a panel together showing up at our elected officials' office or courtroom. This is showing that this is ridiculous.
I understand that. That's part of the bare minimum. What we do is with this channel is try to expose these issues, get the conversation started, and there's some more support that we gain over the next several weeks, months, and years. I think we're going to put in a better position to make some changes. So I appreciate that. I got to take some calls, and just be safe out there.
All right. Thanks, Dominic.
Right, you're welcome. Yeah, you're live. What's going on?
Oh, hi. My name's Susan. I'm calling from Maryland.
Hi, Susan.
I have a question. I wanted to know. Okay. Why do officers have a third party, hire a third party to review officer worn body cam like on a daily basis?
Why do they or why don't they?
Why don't they?
Some do. I think COPA Citizens Office of Police Accountability for Chicago, which is a fucking useless organization. They're supposed to. Here's the problem I have with body cameras. You remember Chicago, Rahm Emanuel? I can't remember the guy's name, who was shot 18 times by that one cop. Well, they sat on that for 18 months so that Rahm could get reelected, right? This is my view, and this is the problem. And again, I'm bringing up conversation. I'm not smart enough to have these solutions, hoping somebody else does. I believe that everything that is police-related is property of the public. Do you agree or disagree?
I absolutely agree.
Now, I show up on your house, and I've got my body camera going, and I walk into a scene and there's a stabbing, shooting, death, or whatever. I've got the body camera footage. I've got it. Now, now, here's the deal. I don't agree with the sensitive nature of it. Like, oh my God, we can't put that out there because here's dead bodies and all this stuff. Fuck them. The public can handle it. I don't give a shit. What I agree with is, well, wait a second. What if we didn't catch the killer yet? And I don't want the killer to know that, you were... not you, but anybody. Somebody was stabbed X amount of times or shot amount of times. I don't want them to see the method it was done. So until my investigation is really solidly concluded, I can't put that evidence out yet because it's going to affect my investigation. That's the blanket. But let me ask. No, that's one more point. No, that's one more point. One more point, because it'll hopefully answer your question. That you can ask again. That's the blanket, right? If something is under investigation, they can't release it, and they can make that for anything. So go ahead.
Okay, but if you are hiring a person in the police department, they are going to be under the same, non-disclosure as your other officers, right? Where they cannot disclose any information. Correct. So this would be just as a detective. They cannot release information. So why can't another person, a third party, who's sworn they cannot, release information, why can't they hire someone like that?
You're right, because look at it this way. If you and I both go on calls, you're a police officer and I'm not, and I'm filming with my iPhone and you're filming with your body camera, that iPhone, fuck you, I'll put it right up online. You're going to have to sit there, get a warrant, and take it offline if you say it's obstructing my... You're going to have to come up with a real big, well, it's obstructing my investigation. It's free speech. It's public domain. So if I'm watching CPD shoot a black man 18 times who walks away from them with a knife, and I put it up online, but CPD's like, no, we got to sit on this body camera for 18 months... What if you have somebody who's an independent agent, but again, too, then it's like, they're going to sign a contract with the state and the agency and say, no, you can't release this out. So it's huge. In my view, it's public property. That's why my solution for this has always been, we have the technology for live streaming. I think every cop's body camera and dash cam should be live streaming 24/7 while they're on duty. No interruptions. Unless it's, hey, you got a rape victim, you need to cover that up. You got something sensitive, nudity, whatever, cover that up, whatever the case is. But I think it should be 24/7.
I think such a bit honestly, an officer deserves their privacy too. They're going to the bathroom and have a private.
I was victim to that. Our body cameras recorded us 24/7 without our knowledge, and they recorded us in the bathroom. So there's a whole lawsuit.
I've never seen that episode. Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you. That answered my question. I appreciate it.
I believe in full transparency to the highest level. No, that's just me.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I appreciate it. I just think that more could be done.
Yes.
Because the body cams aren't being seen, and just they put them on the dock, they're getting loaded, and then they're not being reviewed.
Yeah, and you've got 90 days. Is it 9 days? I think it's 90 days. Those videos have to be stored. Well, what happens if they keep shit quiet and you don't know about it, and then here comes 90 days, and whoop, it's gone. Yeah. No, I appreciate the call. Thank you. It's a great
Thank
question.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good show. Bye-bye.
Thanks. 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. Get you guys calls in. Hello. Hey, you're live. What's going on?
Hey, Dominic. My name is Alex.
How are you?
I'm a long-time viewer. Great. I'm a long-time viewer. I really like what you do in the whole general anti-corruption activism stuff.
And yeah, I want to share my 2 cents on use of force and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, I think we both know that it's really tied to corruption. I mean, just take the Michael Brown example versus, do you know the case of Officer Delone Gray?
I do not. Explain it to me.
Okay, yeah, he was another Ferguson police officer, and compared to how Officer Wilson was treated, Delone Gray, he was responding to a call about a boisterous, belligerent individual. He hit the man on the hand once with his baton. The guy was okay, but Officer Gray never made a report about the incident, then drove the man home. And then, at least in my book, he got railroaded. He was then, I didn't see if he was fired or not, but he was facing termination. But meanwhile, you've gone over videos of this. Other channels have gone over videos like it, where officers commit outrageous acts, but they still keep their job.
Go on.
And yeah, it really just feels like it's all tied, whether what happens to you or don't, it's tied to the command staff's reputation.
Always.
And what they want and how they want to look.
Always. It always is. Anything? Am I missing something? Or, I mean, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, no, it feels like at times I almost don't know where you stand.
Be clear, because maybe I missed something you said. Are you wondering about my stance on what exactly?
Oh, well, as I've been watching you live this tonight, where it's like you mentioned of the Police Executive Research Forum,
right?
How they're like, they're putting officers in danger when they say the stuff they do. I've been to their site a number of times, and I haven't seen anything where they said such. Like, if somebody points a gun at you or whatever, then yeah, I mean, people, I think it's easy to use common sense. Like, hey, if you're an officer and your partner's getting their head smashed in, yeah, you take your hands or whatever you can use, and you do what's necessary to get that guy into custody.
Okay. I'm trying to see where we're not aligned. We're aligned in that. You still there?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, no, we're so far we're aligned. I don't know what I'm missing. I'm sorry. Maybe we just agree, and maybe you just don't see it. I don't know.
Maybe I just don't see.
I'm all about
the way you say things or something sometimes, but yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm
about
actually a recovering bootlicker.
Say that again.
I used to be one of those people you call bootlickers.
Right.
So, and then when I saw like your stuff and then other channels, I was like, wait a second, I am such an idiot.
There is righteous force, use of force is subjective, right? So here's an example. And like I said on that call, I'm 5'7", 230 pounds. I've been training, I've been a wrestler, a wrestling coach, a martial artist, a martial arts teacher since I was 12 years old. I'm a meathead in the gym. My best bench was 365. I could squat. I'm on the path for squatting 405. I want to squat 500 by the time I'm 51. So I'm trained. I'm not afraid of shit. And I got an ego the size of Montana. If I go up to a traffic stop like what we saw earlier, did you see the video that I played about the traffic stop?
The one, you mean the one where the black guy was giving the officer a lot of guff?
Right. So if we're on that traffic stop and you're my partner and you are the officer who is getting taken down, and I come up, no, you're a command staff, right? You're going to review the use of force footage later on. And I go up and you know me, you know my skill set, all this stuff. And I pull an Indiana Jones, and instead of just messing around, I just pull out my pistol and I shoot him in the head. I'm lawfully justified in doing that. The law backs me up. That's deadly force. I used force necessary to terminate life-threatening behavior because I didn't feel like messing up my uniform. I didn't feel like breaking a sweat. I had the shits earlier that day from a bad burrito. I didn't feel like going hands-on with this guy. Do you see the problem? Is use of force is subjective to the experience and perception of the officer. And that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's a bad thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, of course, yeah. It's the reasonable officer standard.
Yes. Reasonable objectiveness. And that's why I think it should remain that and not proportional to the public. Because again, if let's just say we got the bootlickers, right? And they see here's a black guy fighting a cop, and they support me 100%, and I go up and put a pistol right in his head. And the bootlicker's like, yeah, fuck around and find out. And then you got the all cops are bastards crew. You couldn't have choked him out? You're a big bad wrestler. You still coach wrestling. You couldn't have choked him out? No. So who's right? Which side is right? That's why we don't leave it in the hands of the citizens. Because the citizens, proportionality, they're going to have two different answers. That's why it's a danger for law enforcement.
Well, isn't that why we have courts, though?
Yeah. And we have a jury of our peers, and we have a new people. I don't trust a jury of shit anymore, man. You get people who have social agendas, and God forbid you're arrested for a crime. You're going to go for a jury of your peers. They're going to judge you based on your looks. They're going to, jury instructions are not, they're probably going to check out your social media posts, see what political side you're on, see what your views are on pineapple on pizza. I don't fucking trust the American citizen to serve a jury, to sit on a jury to save my life, man. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance.
You're preaching to the choir have you heard of the movie Idiocracy about the dumbing? Yeah, if I was arrested for murder, robberies, I would be shitting my pants every day.
I hear you, man.
That movie is basically a documentary.
I hear you. I appreciate that, though. I mean, does that answer your question?
To an extent.
Okay. Well, anything else I could do for you?
Actually, yeah. This is a technical thing, like a procedural thing about law enforcement. I was wondering, I'm from Illinois here, and I work in Oak Park, and my workplace.
Right.
Robbed.
You work right next to your workplace got robbed. Yeah, that's because you're right next to fucking Austin.
Well,
yeah, I'm sorry. The most violent neighborhood in Chicago is next to the most violent neighborhood in Chicago is Austin, and it's right. My grandmother, North and Long, that was her home, and I hadn't seen that home. I hadn't been to her house since 1991 was the last time I was at my grandmother's house. And for shits and giggles, I drove down to that block a couple of weeks ago, and I went, "Oh my fucking God, this is not what I remember at all." And for those who are wondering, it's a black neighborhood that has more shootings, and it's bumped up right next to Oak Park, Illinois, which is rich, affluent, white suburbia. It blows me away.
Oh, it's not white anymore. It's very diverse. I mean, there are plenty of whites, but it's much more diverse now. And yeah, I have been to quite a few of those pretty not so nice Chicago neighborhoods like K.
But anyways, you're in Oak Park and your business got robbed.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, like not burglarized, actually robbed. And
the difference is what people were there on scene.
Yeah, the difference is the business was not closed.
Right.
Like,
So,
there
okay.
were actually people there.
Yep. Okay. Continue.
So it's robbery.
Yeah. Just so people understand, tactical burglary. No one is on location, and people came in and took your stuff. Robbery. People are on scene. Go ahead.
And when Oak Park PD came and did their thing, we never got a police report or even such as like an incident number or nothing like that. And I called my cop friend. He works in a different department, but he's like, "That's outrageous." You know, here where we're at, you know, almost, you know, we reach out to people very quickly, and you know they can get all that stuff.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's
insurance purposes.
I have no idea what Oak Park police policy is. You're gonna have to call them and ask for it directly.
No, yeah, I got it already. This happened a bit ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I was wondering where you were in Round Lake when you were a police officer in Round Lake. You know, how did it work there?
That's records department. I have no control over that, so that's something I have no knowledge of how that works.
Okay.
Yep. Make sense?
Yes.
I appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, thanks a lot. Guys, 708-982-0974. If you got anything you want to add, it is what it is. Tons of stuff in the chat, man. I can't even keep up with you guys. You guys are great. I'll have to look at these. Mr. Jumper, it's a violation to mortality to record in toilet facilities. Television may be blurred. Yeah, well, that happened to us, man. That happened to us. Anarchy television. That's why I say body cameras should be mandatory and not able to be turned off until the shift is over. And it has to be live streamed, so it cannot be redacted or edited. I 100 million trillion 1,000% agree with you. I would have no problem with that at all, man. That would have been exactly what it is. Bev, truck drivers up here in Ontario have cameras watching them. AI was if they take their eyes off the road, the boss gets an email. Oh, AI! If their eyes come off the road, their bosses get notified. Wow. Justice. Oh, okay. You called in, Justice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Why don't police have third-party reviews? I appreciate that call. That was great. If you had, you need the right people educated to kind of do those reviews, because it's like you take a bunch of people who have no idea. Like, here's an example I always had is people who are like, I got pulled over for nothing, and then they fail to tell people that they didn't use a turn signal on shit. It's like you'd have to have educated people do that. Hang on. Hang on. Rob, I'm calling you. We'll close you out with you tonight. Hello. Hey.
Over for nothing. Hey.
You got to lower that background. I figure we'll use a turn signal. Yeah, I got it right now. All right. No, I figure, you know what? You got a great comment. We'll just close out. Nobody else is going to call tonight. But man, just go ahead and say what you stated. You there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead. Yeah. No, you had a great comment.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So, yeah, I was just saying the juries have the same tribal mindset, you know, kind of if you're in the racial, political, or ethnic minority of your community, you got an uphill battle against a jury.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine me with this fucking ridiculous haircut sitting in front of a jury of my peers, and there's black people sitting in there?
Forget
it. Like, okay, oh, he's a racist. Okay.
Yep.
I'm all about
watch your show, and that's it.
100%. Anybody who watches my live podcast during the day, Rants of Izzo, I talk about everything. It's 100% full free speech, and free speech is not protected in this country. People think I'm a racist, I'm a transphobe, even though one of my closest fucking friends is a trans woman, and she's a co-host, and it blows me away. It blows me away. The automatic assumption, the more you take pride in the expression of our First Amendment, it's insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the judges and the prosecutors are just as bad now.
Oh God, I don't trust any of them. You know, that's why it's like the less I deal with people, the better. But you know, you made a great point, so thank you.
Thank you.
Good. All right, guys, we're live every Wednesday night. Support the channel. There's a lot of things that I want to do to continue to educate law enforcement. There's some pro-police activism that I want to get done, and we need your support for it. We really do. There is a PayPal link. It's Cop Talk Live. You can go to PayPal and you can support the channel. You can buy my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop. It's available at Amazon, wordsmatterpublishing.com, and Barnes & Noble. Share the video. Share the podcast. We're available YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, X, all this. coptalklive.org. Changing cop culture is what you're looking at right now. You can always get a hold of me through the week, 708-982-0974, or email me directly, coptalklive911@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation. But other than that, I appreciate this. I do not have the answers for everything. All I do is create the conversations for us to discuss on changing cop culture for the better, in hopes that we can have a future where law enforcement is seen with integrity, treats the job with integrity, and we get rid of these fucktards who are ruining it for everyone else. Guys, be safe out there. See you guys soon.